Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Chassidus in the morning. 15 minutes to change our lives. Kuntres in the middle of Mammer Yud Dalad. Oh, sorry, Tes Vav. I want to give tzedakah. And we're going to have in mind all the hostages and all the Yidden in Eretz Yisroel and around the world. And for Adi Bas Ziklav, that she should be healthy and safe. And also for Yosef Yitzchak and Simcha, it's Hashem. He's coming back home in a few days, which is great news. Soldier that was been in Gaza fighting. Okay, so let's try to finish this thing. So remember yesterday we were talking about a very important realization that our enemy is Yetzer Hara and Nefesh Bahamas. Now, it needs to be understood a little bit because Nefesh Bahamas is also what keeps us alive, keeps us going. But we have to recognize the negativity of it. That's the enemy. The enemy is the negativity of it, not it itself. Because like it says in Masal Gani, that we have to teach Nefesh Bahamas to enjoy godliness. Because with the Nefesh Bahamas, we can reach much higher success than without the Nefesh Bahamas. And that's the whole purpose of Nefesh Lakis, to affect the Nefesh Bahamas. We have to understand, if we leave the Nefesh Bahamas untamed, it's a wild animal. Seen dogs that aren't controlled by their owners, it's a bad situation. And I've seen it before, and it's not good. And this is what we're saying, that we have to recognize this is the problem. And that's the Nefesh Bahamas. The Yetzer Hara is for sure negative, and it just wants to make your life miserable. Now, it doesn't tell you that. It tells you it makes you want to make your life very enjoyable. So let's go to bed late, and let's eat junk food, and let's think negatively about ourselves. And it feels good at the time, but Sof Kol Sof, in the end, it just destroys our lives. It doesn't let us go anywhere. And so many of us are so crippled by this. And this is what the Rebbe Rashab is teaching us. We have to fight against this. We have to recognize it and fight against it. And the way I see it is we have to train ourselves to recognize that once we see it, we understand this is bad, negative, and we're not even going to machashav it, give it any credence, talk to it, understand it, listen to it. And this is sort of the challenge. When we hear ourselves starting to speak negative about ourselves, we have to be able to catch it and say, hey, that is the Nefesh Bahamas, that's Yetzer Hara. That's not there to make my life better. I thank you for talking. Now you can go. You're done. I'm not going to say anything bad. And hold ourselves back, And even if it's true things, this is what I say. Saying I deal with this as much as everyone else. Even when it's something true, the question you got to ask yourself, is this leading me to a positive result? It doesn't matter if it's true. It's irrelevant if it's true. What's relevant is, am I going to do more mitzvahs? Am I going to connect more to Hashem? Am I going to empower myself to be more connected and do the right thing or not? Even if it's about true things that really need to be worked on and fixed, if it's not leading me in a positive way, then it doesn't belong there. And this is what we're discussing here. Let's see. Page 227 in the green Kuntres mind. Vakasher al-kain hine klos haveda bebev zichach haguf. Therefore, the whole aveda, the whole work, the whole effort that we have to put in to refine our bodies, we have to go wage war to go against them. Asher b'chal davar v'inyan asher Yetzer Hara omer hein yemer hu lav latzmai. That whatever the Yetzer Hara says yes, we say no. And he's saying we have to learn how to inculcate within us this idea. B'chal davar v'inyan asher Yetzer Hara omer lav yemer hu latzmai hein. And whatever Nefesh Bahamas, the Yetzer Hara says don't do, we say let's do that. Asher behis nagdus haklalis halezu, when we have this general opposition to the Yetzer Hara, hu media la Yetzer Hara, you're letting know the Yetzer Hara, shehu seinav asher yilchem imadi. You're making the Yetzer Hara know that I'm your enemy, and we're going to fight this out. It's just such a beautiful and powerful thing. Meaning, we're telling ourselves, we're trying to train ourselves to understand that when the Yetzer Hara comes, you should know up to a fight. And for me, I'll tell you one example of this is let's say when it comes to doing things you don't want to do, I can tell a lot of the time the thing that makes you feel uncomfortable, it's like that's what I'm meant to be doing. Like I meant to call someone, I meant to, whatever it is, a fundraising call, or just speak to someone, and I'm not in the mood of feel, I don't want to do it. I'm like, that means I meant to do it. Okay, let me go do that. And this is sort of what we're telling. And he's saying we have to teach ourselves to say, Mr. Yetzer Hara, whatever you tell me, I'm going to do opposite. And this will train us in the right path. This is how we have to go. And we have to appreciate that, like, this is important because we're important. And, it's like I once heard one of these, like, sports, like, stars, whatever, really good players. And someone said, we knew when he was very young, he was going to be very good. I said, how? He goes, because after they finished playing, training, whatever, they would go, so you want to go for lunch? And they go to lunch, you'd eat like plain chicken without any like seasoning and plain salad. And then he'd go, you want to go do more training? I'm not training, like we're exhausted, we finished. And it was committed. And he didn't drink, he said, and this guy later that became very good, they talked about his son, he's very good. He goes, my son is not doing it right. So what do you mean? He goes, I'm trying to explain to him, you can't sit there and be this good and drink Coca-Cola. It doesn't work. You have to be committed. And this we have to recognize. We look at something like, leave me alone. I'm just being my life. I want to let me eat my ice cream and let me watch my things and let me do my things. And I have to be so intense. We have to realize we are professionals. We are living. We're on the world stage. What we do makes a huge difference. And we have to appreciate that. And therefore, that will help us appreciate to do these things. We can say to ourselves, why do I have to do this? Let me learn. So we have to recognize, first and foremost, I'm here to make a world a better place. And how do I make a world a better place? I don't need to go protesting in the streets of Manhattan or, blocking traffic. I need to do mitzvahs, Torah and mitzvahs, and hold myself back and not listen to Yetzer Hara. This is what we need to be doing. And this is we have to see and recognize when the Yetzer Hara is talking, and when we're talking, we say, thank you. Now I know to do opposite. It's like the famous story. And it's like people laugh at the joke, but this is how it was back in the day. That the Chassidim, they had this rule that if you didn't have the Rebbe wasn't around to speak to him, so what they'd do is they'd go to the Misnagid, they'd ask him what to do. Whatever he'd say, they do opposite. So this means you listen to you see what the Yetzer Hara is telling you, and you know that you should do opposite. Okay. V'achas mitach sisei hamilchama hu hasimas lev al inyanim kale ha'erach. One of the ways we have to pay attention to the things that are very light, not the heavy thing, not the big averos, the small little things. Ki hanitzachon einu talui b'hagbura b'riboy hanashim b'riboy klei zayin bilvad. Because winning the war is not just about good weapons, a lot of men, and just like overpowering them. Ella ha'ikar hu hamtzais sichliyos eich lahatais es hamanagid v'lo helichei shalom. But really, the trick of war is having the brains to figure out what to do when and what the tactics are. And this is a perfect example is the Israelis. They go to war, they're very quick to figure out things. And they're constantly updating the way they do things based off the new information they have. Being able to change with what's needed. And so too with us. It's not about, I'm just going to go crazy, I'm going to find myself, I'm just going to do whatever I need to do, and not going to listen to Yetzer Hara. But it's about recognizing, it's about recognizing the Yetzer Hara when it is, when it's talking, when it's not talking, and what I need to be doing to myself, and how do I tell myself, and how do I need to change this? If I'm going to find my Yetzer Hara, but I went to bed very late, and I had a bad breakfast, I ate a cheesecake and coffee, that's my breakfast, and I'm tired, it's probably going to make me pretty grumpy, and it's going to be very hard to battle my Yetzer Hara. But if I say to myself, you know what, I'll make sure to go to bed early, and of course, no excuses, doesn't mean we should just give in, but we have to understand, we have to give ourselves the best chance. Go to bed early, have a good sleep, make sure to have a healthy breakfast, and try to learn something, and try to daven. That sets us up for a good, positive day. Bamtza sichlis shel armumius. Menatzchim harbi yesem mibigvura shel riboy anashim riboy klei zayin. Sometimes this cunningness and this understanding will make you win versus having a lot of people and weapons. And a perfect example of this is the Israelis. Israelis don't have the biggest army in the world. And they don't have the biggest army. During the 6-Day War and the Yom Kippur War, they were outnumbered, many more numbers and better quality weapons versus what they had. In the I think it was the 6-Day War, Yom Kippur War, the airplanes that the Israelis had were much lower grade, lower class than what the Egyptians had and the Syrians had, and the Israelis still won. But it's not just about the firepower and about the amount of people. It's about the brains. So it is spiritually. The hatayvos va'averos hein haklei zayim agvura shal Yetzirah. Taiva and averos is the weapons of the Yetzirah. Ushtuse haitztadkus, and the foolishness of justifying ourselves. The masha adam matzdikas atzmoi hein hema hamta'oi sichlius shal Yetzirah. These are the cunningness of the thoughts of the Yetzirah, teaching us to think about it this way. V'nefesh bahamis ba'armumius gdela, with great deceptiveness and convincing us in these things. Lil koid chas v'shalom b'koyach gam elu asher inyane hatayv v'avera yefshar lahachtiam. Even to the extent of people that aren't shaykh to doing the various things like this, they come with this and they push us. And this is the war that we're battling versus the Yitzhar. The Yitzhar comes to get us, convince us all these things, and teach us all these things that are wrong. And this is happening with all of us. We all have this. This is the nature of the beast. This is our lives. And the question and the challenge is to first and foremost recognize it, see it where it is, and then learn tools to overcome it. And how do I fight back? What's my klei zayin? What's my weapons? My weapon is not listening. Whatever you say yes, I'm going to say no. Whatever you say no, I'm going to say yes. It's saying to myself, I'm going to make sure to go to bed on time and eat healthy. I'm going to make sure to try to make a chavrus to learn every morning or come, join the morning shiur. Things like this. And this is it. Basher al kein hine gam mishu tzadik gomer yachil limtzei ba'atzmo shtusim ke'elu. Even a tzadik gomer, complete tzadik, can find within themselves shtusim ke'elu, foolishness. She'imi yoy shehem dakim v'lo hevi oisam la'avar avera b'poel mamish chas v'shalom. Even though it's so refined that it can never bring him to actually do an avera, to bring the tzadik to an avera, God forbid. Im kol zeh hine chesroines hadakim, these very minute lackings, things that they're missing, gamkein oimdim b'rumay shalelam, they're still there. Ultimately, they're there. The goyimim divine marai moy, they cause very bad things. This is very interesting what he's saying. Even a tzaddik gomer, which is complete, it despises evil, still can have within themselves something. For example, someone could be a big learner, learn Torah a lot. Even if the person learns for Hashem's sake, it's not for themselves, not for their own benefit, not for them feeling good, and no ulterior motive, but to do what Hashem wants. And he daven very well with a lot of kavanah. Again, these are like people that we wish we were like. Vadas, udveikus, niflam, and a great amount of cleaving and connection to Hashem. And they have cause them to have such a desire, such a thirst to be connected to Hashem. Until it will make the soul overcome the flesh, meaning we're more connected to the spirituality than the physicality. That's how great they've become. But if they start to give themselves all the credit, and they become to like haughtiness and arrogance, adam tashpilenu, this haughtiness will make a person descend until they can lose everything they did. Arrogance, very unhealthy. We're talking about a person on such a high level. They daven, they learn, the davening, they feel a real connection to Hashem. They want to connect, and they feel that thirst and that longing to Hashem, which we'd all wish to feel. But they can also lose it by these little things that happen for the Yetzer Hara. And what's the example that he's giving here? That they give themselves all the credits. It says about the Chassidim Rishonim, they would hide themselves or what they did. And the reason was because they didn't want to take all the credit for what they had, because they understood what they had was a gift from Hashem. And it's a very powerful, it's a whole variety that we can't have right now, but it's a very powerful idea. We have to recognize that we know when something bad is going on, we blame God. But when something's good, it's all us. And what we have to recognize that it's all God. That when something good happens to us, it's not that we're good, we're so smart, that's why it happened. We're happy because Hashem decided to give it to us for whatever reason that He understands best. And we have to give the proper credit to who it belongs. And that's what we're saying. But when we don't do that, and we give ourselves all the credit, and when we come and we get arrogant, that causes a lot of issues. Kitzur. Adam Tarich Ladas, person needs to know ki hanefesh v'hamis v'yetzer hara heim soinah b'nefesh. The yetzer hara and nefesh v'hamis are your haters, people that hate you. And that's why it's important when you hear it comes from nefesh v'hamis on the yetzer hara, you have to say, why? Because they're your enemy. They're not there to make your life better. They're making your life worse. The nefesh v'hamis is more just self-serving. Yetzer hara is to destroy you. In this physical world, we are the ultimate of creation. The whole purpose of creation is our physical world. And our job is to transform the darkness of this world to light. It has to be through a war, but the war is through being attentive to ourselves and recognizing ourselves and what's going on. Even on very light things, it's like, this is not a big deal. That's where you have to keep an eye on, because that's where it starts. Aveira, Taiva, you have the Aveiras and Taivas. And the worst part is not just the Aveira. It's not the Taiva, it's the justification for it. If you justify it, you can never change it. Gaiva, like haughtiness. Shema'abed gam hamu'ula b'teira mitzvahs. That the Gaiva affects even the people that are very good with their Torah learning and their davening and they're doing mitzvahs, it can ruin it. By the mitzvah Hashem, all of us, we should be able to recognize when the Yetzer Hara is coming and recognize when they're saying yes, and we're able to say no and be able to follow through with that no. And we should have an amazing day. Have a great Shabbos.